know Kamari trying to take shots at me early morning, but it's cool because we're gonna get into a topic that maybe everybody. I think everybody needs to hear this one. I think everybody not only needs to hear this one, but everybody needs to be involved in this conversation. So if you can, make sure that you're involved in the convo through the chat. We want to hear y'all feedback. We don't want to talk to y'all. We want to talk with y'all. All right. So
Come on, King. That was good. Okay,
yeah, you
King.
feel me? Yeah, I do a little one today now and then, but now I'm gonna throw it to you so you can kind of lead us off to why this is the topic, how we got here, and kind of jumpstart us as far as the direction we want to start off with.
Yes. So, can we be our own therapist? So I literally was sitting to myself. I was just like randomly just sitting, and I was like, that came across my mind. Like, can I heal myself? Can I do, can I be the one that leads me to this like healing space? And a part of me was like, yeah, I could do that. I could do that. But then also I was like, wait a minute. Once I like sat with it a little longer, there were so many different, things that came to mind that was like, well, no, you can't do this part, or you may need help with this part. And so I came to the conclusion that it is a yes and no answer for me. You can help heal yourself. However, I don't think that you can always be your own therapist. But we can dig more into my reasons later. But what do you guys think? What do you think, Dan?
Uh, my fault. I was on mute. I think that we can definitely be our own therapist, depending on the type of person that we are. If we're
Mhm.
super accountable and able to kind of self-reflect, critique ourselves, I think that we can be our own therapist. I think that um, to a certain extent, that's what meditation is for me. You know what I mean? When I meditate, that's exactly what I'm doing. Like I'm having a conversation with myself, and I'm almost picturing myself as different people. Or I shouldn't say I'm having just a conversation with myself. I'm having a conversation with my grandfather, my grandmother, my nan, my pop,
Mhm.
with Hayes. Like, you know what I mean? I'm having a conversation with a lot of these people that either have passed away in my life or transitioned
Mhm.
or may still be here, but I'm just having a conversation. Like, it could be my mom, my dad, like literally what would my mom, my dad think? And I'm bouncing the ideas off of them, based on the spirit that I know that they have, based on the people that they are. So I'm having that conversation with myself. I think that what it all boils down to is whether or not you're able to successfully do it is the accountability aspect. Because
Mhm.
when you think about it, a lot of times we'll have the answers for ourselves. Like it's just easier for us to give it to other people. Like say if somebody else is in our same situation, we can
Mhm.
give y'all the answers, but a lot of times when we're in that same situation, it's just very hard for us to fall through. Like, how many times have you given relationship advice to somebody based on if you were in that situation, but you're not in that situation, and it's hard for you when you are in that situation to take the same advice to just leave. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, it's easier said than done. But
Right.
I actually see us as I think what we need is for us to get more towards like a family counseling, like having more counseling among family, friends, and certain groups that we interact with rather than the therapist. And I'll kind of get into, why I say that, but I think that that's the direction that we more would benefit from.
Mhm. So when I thought about the reasons why I didn't think that we could be our own therapist were for reasons what I felt like were super deep, right? So have you ever been to like a friend's house, right? And like their parents just like the way they operate is just so different from like how maybe you operate in your house. So like say, and it could be on both ends. Like you could go to somebody's house and their parents fill them up with love and read a story before bed and are super caring and tuck everybody in and kiss them goodnight. And that may be different from how you are put to bed. And you're like, wow, that looks really nice. That seems really cool. Or you could go somewhere where the mom is like, sit the fuck down, go to bed. Blah, blah. You ever seen a parent like that? And you're like, that's their norm. So everybody's used to it. Everybody's sitting there and you're like, yo, what the like this is chaotic. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes we grow up not knowing that our normal wasn't healthy or wasn't normal or wasn't okay. And so I think we learn things later by getting out in the real world, experiencing different people, experiencing different things, that there are certain levels of peace or certain levels of love or certain levels of understanding that we feel like we can't access because we didn't know that they were even accessible to us. And so I think there's certain, and then also on the flip side, there's certain behaviors and thoughts and things that you're just like, I don't understand why I think this way. It's not helping me. It's hurting me, but I don't feel like I can stop it. And I don't have the tools to kind of come to that to myself. And so again, a therapist can help you come up with those tools, but it all comes back to you having to do the work. If they suggest something, or if they say, hey, you know what, that is a toxic parent family dynamic that you and your mom have. Maybe you guys should try this, and that, or you might have to create boundaries. Some people don't know. They may know innately, like, okay, there has to be something or some boundaries that I can put in place, but what boundaries can I put in place? And sometimes a therapist can help you really walk that out as well. And then there's a certain level of like vulnerability that you'll have with this person that I don't know, that has been to school to help me with how I don't know how to process certain things or to get to a certain level. And I'd rather talk to them than my friend. I may not want to tell my friend that I had certain things going on. If somebody got an STD, like it might be easier to just tell this lady I don't know, I got an STD and I'm scared I gave it to my boyfriend, versus going to my homegirl or aunt or a cousin that like I might feel quote unquote safe with, because I know that information could land up on Pillow Talk or whatever, you know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of different reasons like that. But really for me, it was just like some stuff we just don't even know about ourselves that needs help, that can get help and processed in therapy. That was
Yeah. No. It was good. It was spot on. I identify with a lot of things that you said. Let me get to the comments that Shalina made, and then I'll respond to you.
That's Michelle. Just FYI.
Oh, that's Michelle. Mm-hmm. Michelle, grandma. Mm-hmm. You can start your own inner healing, but you need some sound wisdom. Dope. Okay. Mm-hmm. Therapist is for accountability. Therapist gives you insight, open your eyes to things you may not see. Yeah. So this is what I was kind of going to ask you when I think about therapists and whether or not this is true, and maybe some people in the group can help out as well. But by the way, hold up. I said Michelle's a grandma. Michelle is an amazing, beautiful. Yeah, she not no normal grandma.
That's my friend. She's
I had to clarify that. So yeah, just to be clear, Michelle, one of them, a beautiful, hot grandma. So yeah, but dang, now y'all made me lose my train of thought. But no, what I was gonna say is that can therapists actually give you suggestions? Because I was looking at a couple different videos, like panels where they were talking about it, and somebody was in the mental health space. They worked mostly with kids, but they were saying how therapists legally cannot recommend you do certain things. Like they can't give you advice. They're there more so to just kind of absorb and do an intake rather than coach you, so to say. Can anybody give some insight on that? Mar, what's your thoughts? Because that to me is. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was gonna say no. I know there is some. I don't know, like the technical rule. Like they can't just like maybe say like, yeah, you should go and jump off a bridge into some water. It might feel freeing if you go bungee jumping. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that they can tell you that. More so, like a therapist that I had one time was just like, have you ever thought about, you know what I mean? They come to it from like a different point about like, have you ever
thought about what?
So like there was one time, like I was super nervous, like driving on the highway and all this other stuff. She's like, well, have you ever thought of just like getting off and taking a few breaths and whatever? Cause it was like a real, like, I'm going to die, you know, that kind of thing. And she was like, well, have you ever thought about maybe just getting off the highway, taking a deep breath, or maybe looking at an alternative route, or maybe practicing being on the highway with a friend. Like they give you those, like, have you ever thought about trying it this way? Or when you are nervous on the highway, what is it that you're thinking about? What is in the back of your mind? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like they try to help you come to it in their own wording, in their own way. And I feel like they do give you like homework. So there is like homework at the end of each session sometimes. And it may just be like, when you're on your phone, when you're on the phone call with your sister or brother and it gets to this level, maybe you can just say, hey guys, let me give you a call back while I process. Like they do give you, I think, like practices and things like that. I don't know how far that can go, but like there has been moments where it's just kind of like, have you ever thought about like trying this when you're in an argument, or doing deep breaths, or listening to a certain meditation? Like my therapist has done that. I had to do, I think, well, this was more, and then another lady, she gave me like a list, a pros and cons list. What are some things that I think I want to work on? So it is all back to you doing the work, but them giving you like some tools or some thoughts to help you kind of come to the conclusion
like
yourself.
help you with the process.
Right.
Okay. My thing is, I guess my question would be, why can't they coach you? Literally, when you get coached in any other area, it could be a math tutor, it could be a trainer in the gym, it could be a sports coach, it could be a writing coach, it could be anything. They can give you specific things. Try this, do this. You know what I mean? Like they can give you that direction. Why do you think that with therapy and therapists, I should say, you can't do that? And obviously, when we're talking about therapists right now, we're talking about like mental health therapists. We know there's a lot of different types of therapists, but that's what we're referring to right now. No, I'm just talking about for the audience.
Yeah, no. I'm thinking about answering your question.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not trying to battle. So no, I think that there's obviously some reason, obviously why they teach it that way, or they made that rule. The only reason why I could think is because giving someone maybe full on head on advice may not always be the best option for them, or somebody may interpret it the wrong way and go do something. Or you told me to break up with my husband and that was the wrong thing to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you come to me and you say your goal is to leave him and that is what you're final on, then I can give you practices on how to work through what you're feeling. But if you're saying, so it's all based off of like what you're really trying to, what your goal is. If you tell me your goal is to stay in this marriage and work through this marriage, how can I do that? And so I think they give you practices to figure that out too. But maybe like giving me saying like, hey, you should leave today. If I'm your therapist and it's like, you need to get out now, that could be damaging, or it not be the result that you want or be that you need ultimately. So I don't know really why that is their rule.
Yeah, I think it's so they're not held liable.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And to me, when somebody removes responsibility, I almost value your opinion less. I get it, how it can be beneficial to get a non-biased, perspective, somebody that doesn't know you, somebody that's not your friend. I get all that, but I almost feel as if because the system of it where they want to remove liability, it's like, well, I want to remove responsibility. I want to credit you for, I guess, helping to guide you there and get you there, but I don't know. I feel a little differently about it. Like that's why for me, I don't think we need. I guess the beginning question should be is, do most of us need therapy? You know what I mean? Like, do most of us need therapy? And then the follow up question, or I guess how I would answer that is, I would say we need therapy, but I think we need family. We need family therapy to speak to our loved ones more. People who do have an understanding of who we are, and we have an understanding of them, to where we can kind of filter the advice that we're getting. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's very important. I get 100% how the other side can be beneficial as well. But just overall, that's where I would be leaning towards.